I'm Jason with the All Things Open team. We're here with Brandon. Welcome to the studio. We're going to talk about the future of coding, React, open source trends, and a bunch more. Please introduce yourself to the ATO community.
Yeah, first of all, Jason, thanks for having me on again. I love doing like the All Things Open and the We Love Open Source events. But I'm Brandon Mathis, engineering lead at This.Labs, and I've worked in like application development for over 16 years now. So it's been a wild ride watching the trends changing when it comes to like building software, writing code, things like that. And this has been a big year.
Yeah, well, I think there's been a lot that's happened since last time we chatted.
Yeah.
And we're going to dive right into it. So how is AI changing how we write code?
I mean, definitely, and I'm sure like for a lot of people, they're like, wow, like, we're back to the AI topic again. But like I really think are in just like a modern renaissance in the way that we construct and engineer code. Like tools like Cursor and Claude Code, which I use a lot of these CLI tools I very much enjoy, I really think are changing the game and giving people the ability to like do things like understand code in other languages. I've recently started doing a lot of React Native development, for instance, and that means that I have to look at Swift and Kotlin code often, every single day. I have to change between JavaScript, Swift, Kotlin all the time. AI really, really does a lot to help me understand and context switch between these different languages really quickly. And oh my goodness, like now I'm getting stuff done in a day that would have taken me a week. It's crazy. I'm having a blast.
The productivity factor is amazing. I totally agree. So it's kind of a different question. Do you think coding will be pay to play in the future?
So this is something I am a little scared of because like I talk about all this like, oh, I use these cool AI tools like Cursor. So for instance, at the beginning of the year here in 2025, we started with these monthly premium subscriptions where it was going to be $20 a month. You were going to get as much AI, coding, and Cursor as you wanted. And then all of a sudden, people started seeing rate limiting. So then Anthropic and these other model providers started going, or tool providers started going, okay, we're going to do a max subscription now, $200 a month. We will never, ever, ever rate limit you. And you know what happened? Everyone started getting rate limited less than 4 months after that subscription plan came out. So now everything is really tracking towards API and usage-based billing, and it's really going to come down to you are going to pay, the more money you're willing to pay and put into AI, the more value you are going to get out of it and extract out of it. So if you have bigger pockets to be able to pay for more AI, your company is going to be able to produce more code if you can equip your engineers with the absolute best tools on the market, which are not cheap right now.
Yeah, that's a fascinating analysis. Do you have a preferred coding assistant tool, and why do you use it?
Definitely Claude CLI. It's kind of one of the pricier ones out there right now. The Anthropic, 3.5 model that came out recently is done a lot to kind of like decrease cost. A lot of people have been talking some good things about Codex and GPT's, OpenAI's like coding focused model Codex, but I personally like to stick with the Anthropic models. I've been getting a lot of value out of those, and I'm a bit of a CLI geek. I like to run everything in my terminal. If anyone's ever seen like any of my live streams or stuff like that I do, I just like to sit in the terminal all day long. So I really like Claude CLI for that reason.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Do you think engineers will still write code in 10 years, or are we just going to be able to talk to the computer and it's going to work?
Man, I love these thought experiments where it's like 10 years in the future, because I always think to myself, first, before I answer the question, I think 10 years into the past. Like, how can I answer this question effectively? And like 10 years ago, I didn't even have like effective ways to install third-party libraries easily. GitHub was kind of like just starting, so being able to like traverse through open source code libraries, like it was very challenging writing code, and I benefit now from tools that exist. But the next 10 years, I feel like we're going to see like 20x what the value of that is. I do think that we're going to be able to get into a mode where it's going to be like, oh, I need to make a tool that's going to convert an SVG to a PNG. Well, let me just fire up Cursor and just say, build me a website that can convert an SVG into a PNG, and bam, I have the tool. I don't need to upload my SVGs to some sketchy third-party website that I found online that has 1 million ads on it. So that's going to make like custom software more accessible to like everyone. Any kind of utility someone wants to make, even if you're like a small IT team and you need like a one-off tool, you'll be able to like build these things. And I think that's just going to really kind of like almost expand the demand for software development in sort of like this dichotomy like way. But
yeah, that's a fun thought experiment.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Do you have any trends or changes, either good or bad, that you see affecting open source?
So one thing I'm really worried about with this AI stuff is the amount of AI slop that gets generated. I feel so bad for these open source maintainers that sit around day in, day out. They're maintaining 3 different libraries. They're watching out for phishing attacks. They're watching out for code quality that real people submit. And now they have to watch out for like the script kiddie that's just going to bust open Cursor and open up an open source repo and go find a bug. Now fix that bug and then submit that as a pull request. Like, you know, I'm really scared that a lot of people are running around doing that right now. And like, I think we actually need maybe a tool to combat some of that in the open source community to prevent like just the extra work that gets put on these already like hardworking open source maintainers.
Yeah. Well, that's a really neat idea. You've been doing a lot of work with React lately. Tell us about that. What's been your experience?
So 2025.
The big sigh? There's a big
sigh. Man,
sigh.
it's been, I think like 2025 has been this really crazy year for React Native, and I have really shifted so much of my work away from web and onto native because these whole new world has kind of opened up for React Native with this introduction of what they've called new architecture that really kind of rolled out in 2024. But what that means is there's a lot of mobile applications that have not been upgraded to support new architecture. They're still floating around out there, and these companies are finding that their apps are getting removed off the App Store because they don't support the latest Android SDK for whatever reason. So I've actually shipped 6 different mobile applications this year, mostly around fixing and resolving this issue. So I've done a lot of React Native development recently. We've done a lot of custom new product development stuff, but I've actually been having a really fun time like diving in deep to React Native and understanding what's going on in there, and it is very, very complex. It's been a big challenge. I'm a web developer. I only have a little bit of experience in native when it comes to like working directly with Kotlin or Swift code, but again, with AI tools, I've learned a lot in the past year, so it's been a really, really, really busy year for me over the past year with React Native work.
All right.
Yeah, man.
What's a new tool that you've been using to boost your own productivity lately?
Well, I got a standing desk. That's been helping a lot.
There you go.
But definitely, I mean, I'm trying to think of something that isn't like an AI coding related assistive tool. I mean, but it's just been like so big for me this year, man. You know, I mean, it's definitely been like, I don't get on Stack Overflow so much anymore. If I kind of have like a general question or I need to think out 4 different approaches of how I'm going to develop some function or feature, I will like crack open ChatGPT and like have a free flowing conversation about what if I parallelize this? Well, what if I did it on Lambda? How much code would that be? What would it look like? And that's been a lot of fun as opposed to maybe just like having to dig through very old Stack Overflow posts that are 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. I don't know. I like the interactive experience of working with AI. It helps me like learn and pick up concepts faster. So that makes productivity increase for me.
Cool.
Right?
All right, we're going to end with something really fun.
Yeah.
It's called the Hotfix Minute.
Okay.
Are you ready, Brandon?
I'm ready.
Just don't overthink it.
Okay. All right.
Linux, Mac, or Windows?
Linux, because I love it. Yep.
Okay, yeah. Quick answers. Books, movies, or podcasts?
Oh, podcasts.
Pizza, salad, or tacos?
Tacos.
Rock, country, or hip-hop?
Oh, right now I'm on a big rock kick. Definitely rock right now for me.
Star Wars, Star Trek, or stargazing?
Stargazing. Stargazing.
Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini?
Claude.
The future of AI is helper bots or robot takeover?
Helper bots.
All right, ready to wrap the Hotfix Minute. Thanks so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Jason.